Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. That's a very tough act to follow, right? So I don't sing and dance. So I hope I'll try to make this as little entertaining as possible. So my name is Dr. William Yu, and I am a professor of computer science, and I also run a technology practice, right? So today, I am going to talk about an intersection of two things, people and information, right? So let's get started. So I'm going to talk about two things, people and information. Let's begin. First with the standard disclaimers, because we are in an academic institution after all. I did use a lot of AI to generate this presentation. So that's that. Now that with that out of the way, let's start. First, in the beginning, we had perfect reproduction of information. So that is a printing press, right? When somebody had an idea, a story, or a piece of information, I could put it in a printing press and I could make thousands, hundreds of copies. So first evolution of information for people is perfect reproduction and mass distribution. The next trend is the internet. So after we get information, we can copy it many, many times. But the problem is it was limited by physical pieces of paper. The internet changed that all. Now, we're at this phase where we can get that information to any part of the globe, right? Whether it's here or in another country or even in the moon, hopefully at some point in time. So distribution lost its bounds. Third is the mobile phone revolution. Here, we now have the information we can perfectly copy, we can distribute it. Now, at the same time, we can access it anytime, anywhere. Who of you here do not have a mobile phone? Right. I don't think so, right? Now, everything we've seen so far is about information retrieval, right? We can copy, we can distribute, and we can access anytime, anywhere, but it's all about distributing information. Now, we have a new trend today. So that trend, of course, we call it artificial intelligence, or AI. Of course, this is the common misconception of people when they talk about AI. Of course, at some point, the robots will rule the world and we would no longer be relevant. This could still happen, but we don't know. But AI has been around for a very, very long time. As a matter of fact, it's a field of computer science invented in the 50s, which is basically mainstream today. Every time you look at your iPhone to unlock the phone, that's facial recognition, that's a form of AI. Every time you cross a toll plaza at the North Luzon Expressway, where it recognizes your license plate, that is AI. Technology has been around. So what is the difference between AI then and AI now? Why are we all in a kerfuffle about how AI has changed our lives? There are three things that I would like to cover. So first, why is it happening now? What is the difference between AI today and AI before? First difference is commodity computing. Computing, CPUs, laptops, cell phones, have become so pervasive that it is actually cheaper to make and to produce, and it's much more accessible. The computer you use in your cell phones today, the kind of processors you use in your laptops today, are also the same kind of processors that are used in supercomputers. There is no difference between a supercomputer processor and a laptop processor today. That's what we call in the business merchant silicon. The same technology that drives your individual computers is the same technology that drives supercomputers. So makes it more accessible. Second is high-speed networking, right? We can now connect. People complain that internet is slow. I don't know of anybody who feels that internet is fast, but believe me, it is much faster today than it was ever before, right? We were perfectly happy in the early days of the internet. I did join an ISP in the late 90s, and we were happy to get 960 bits per second. That was, and bits, walang mega, walang kilo, it was just bits per second. Today, technology for networking has vastly improved, therefore communication is also better. Second trend. Third trend is open source software. A lot of the software that you and me use today is available for free. Right? The cell phones, if you're using an Android or an iOS phone, the underlying operating system there is open source. Why does that matter? For a country like the Philippines, where we do not have any special access to technology, open source software is important for us. It allows us to differentiate in a space where richer countries would get access to technology. Trend number 3. And trend number 4 is basically shared nothing architecture. So this is all on the engineering side. We can build supercomputers, essentially, with the cell phones and laptops you have today, club them together, you can build a supercomputer. It is much more accessible. So that's trend number 1, on the hardware and engineering side. Trend number 2 is we have a pandemic of oversharing. Right? Who of you here has never taken a picture of food and shared it on social media? But that I would believe if you raised your hands. We have a pandemic. We are sharing more information today than ever before. Where do you think all that information goes? It goes somewhere, right? So, for example, we have the largest online encyclopedia in the world, for example, like Wikipedia. Back in the day, we had Encyclopedia Britannica, etc. Most of you have never seen those things before because it's all available in the internet today. Information is now readily available, and you and I contribute to this global pool of information. What do you think feeds the AI models we have today? The stuff you and me have been sharing. So it's not only the technology has become readily available and open source, but even the information used to train that model is basically open as well. That's also the reason why we see that the generative AI models we have today are very good at, say, English, because 80% of the information in the internet today that's readily available is in English, right? So again, open as well. Open hardware, open software, open information. And the third trend, which is the most recent one in 2022, is what we call pre-training and transformers. This allows you to take all of that information, somebody trains it for you, builds a model, and you can just pick up that model, do a little training, and use it for your own purposes. That is the reason why it is a lot more accessible today. They claim that you need a lot of GPU cards to do the training. That's true, right? If you're training it from scratch. But because of this new trend, which we call pre-training, you can take a model that was already trained, just add in your stuff, which we call fine-tuning, and you can produce a model of your own. The barrier to entry for doing AI has substantially gone down. Now, what's in it for you and me? Because not everybody is a computer scientist, although I hope some of you here will consider a career in computer science and will take it. So I am plugging for my friends in the College of Computer Studies, so you could learn these things. But what's in it for you and me, and why is it happening now? The reason why this is important is because the first 3 revolutions are about just accessing information. Just getting information from one place and making it more accessible. The 4th trend is about processing. We have finally hit a point where something, in this case, AI technology, can help you process that information. It's not just about getting access to it or retrieval, it is now about processing. And if you and the technology come together, you can definitely do more. Maybe scary, we don't know what's going to happen, but definitely reason why me and many computer scientists are very excited is because this is one technology that will definitely change. This is like the PC moment of AI, we feel. Okay? So now what? What's in it for you and me, and for those who have already decided not to pursue a career in computer science? Number 1, for the technically savvy folks in the room, the technology is all available. You can get your computer You can actually test it all out. Many of the algorithms are open source. Many of the data is openly available. Even the weighted algorithms, the ones that they trained with $5 million to $15 million worth of GPUs, are openly available, and you can download them. For others, it's a question of data management and storytelling. In the past, it was very hard to create AI models because you had to know the algorithms yourself. Now you can have a generative model train and access it for you, so it's a lot faster. Of course, there are other technical aspects, fine-tuning and RAG, pipeline environments. So if you're CS people here, you can do all of that. Everything, my point, is openly available, so it's open source. Of course, what we have to watch out for is safety and governance, right? Because the models aren't perfect, like human beings aren't perfect. So it is important that we have safety and governance as well. Now, for the rest of us, give your existing tools a second look. Generative AI is likely baked in already. I am sure many have generated pictures, reviewed emails, summarized Zoom and Gmeet calls. A lot of this technology is finding its way into average technology today. You may not even have to write it or build it yourself. It's already there. So all of these use cases are already available for you. Second is being able to ask the model the right question is a talent in and of itself. We have this joke in the industry that maybe prompt engineering will be like the data scientists like 5 years ago. It will probably be a new career that will demand, high pay and things like that. Because being able to tell the model what to produce is becoming an art and a science of its own. So prompt engineering is like cool. And you can do that. You don't really have to know computer science to do it. Of course, let's just be careful with the tools. You review the output. Don't just take it and submit it to your teacher, right? For those of your students. But we have to be wary. And last but not the least, bake it in, right? Try to use it. Don't be afraid, especially since we're in a technology savvy setting. We have to try to use the technology. What we feel here is that if people do not apply the technology, it won't be meaningful to us and we will just get left behind. Now, what is important for us in the Philippines is that we don't have a monopoly of high-tech hardware, or we don't really have access to proprietary software. Open source and open models are important for us, right? So that's it for my presentation, and I would like to encourage you all to give it a try. And the technology is still quite new. I'm sure it will evolve. So last but not least, keep calm and let's hope we evolve. So thank you very much and have a good afternoon.